Magandang araw, Malacanang Press Corps. Upang mas lalo pang mapalakas ang suporta sa mga kababayan nating naaapektuhan ng mataas na presyo ng langis, pinangunahan ngayong umaga ni Pangulong Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. ang ikatlong Unified Package for Livelihoods, Industry, Food and Transport o UPLIFT Committee meeting sa Malacanang. Kabilang sa mga programang makatutulong sa ating mga kababayan ang pag-roll out ng 10 pesos per liter na fuel subsidy para sa ating mga drivers. Magsisimula na ang programang ito ngayong tanghali. Mas lalo pang pinag-iigting ng pamahalaan ang lahat ng mga hakbang upang maibsan ang pasanin ng ating mga kababayan dulot ng kaguluhan sa Middle East. Ang utos ni Pangulong Marcos Jr. sa Uplift Committee ay siguraduhin na maaabot ang lahat ng mga maaapektuhan at tiyakin na equal distribution ang tulong na maibibigay sa mga nangangailangan. Gamitin ang pondo sa pinakamabilis at kapaki-pakinabang na pamamaraan. Dapat ring siguruhin ang tuloy-tuloy na supply ng langis para sa patuloy na pag-usad ng ekonomiya ng bansa. Bilin din ng Pangulo sa committee na kailangang pag-isipan ang long-term solutions lalong-lalo na sa fuel at oil supply sa bansa. Ngayong araw ay makakasama natin ang ilang lingkod bayan na katuwang ng pamahalaan para pagaanin ang buhay ng ating kapwa Pilipino sa gitna ng mga hamon na sama-sama nating hinaharap. Kasama natin si Energy Secretary Sharon Garin, Transportation Secretary Giovanni Lopez, Finance Undersecretary Carlo Adriano, LTFRB Chairman Vigor Mendoza, at Land Bank President and CEO Lynette Ortiz upang himayin ang mga tinalakay sa katatapos lamang na Uplift Committee meeting. Magandang araw po sa inyo lahat.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. At kami nandito para magbalita po na kung ano yung mga pinag-usapan namin sa Uplift Committee this morning. And then also what has the Department of Energy on our part has done, accomplished for this past week. Um, the sa pagtingin kasi ng Department of Energy, our current problem is not only problema today or next week or or next month. It will be a prolonged problem, not because of any kung ano mang kasalanan ng mga kababayan natin or mga politiko. It is because of the war in the Middle East. That pero tuloy-tuloy pa rin kahit hindi natin kontrolado ang cause of the problem. We are trying to soften the impact to our to each and every household in the Philippines. So isa po sa mga balita is that today there's a rollback, no? I think alam niyo na kung magkano yung rollback today. There is a rollback for diesel at 20.89 pesos. Diesel for 4 pesos and 43 centavos. Kerosene, gasoline pala. Ano ba sabi ko? Diesel, tapos 20.89, gasoline at 4.43, and kerosene at 8.50. Uh, Naepekto din yung pag-announce ng presidente on the excise tax, but we still need to make the computations kasi kahapon lang in-announce, and then DOF or BIR needs to draft the guidelines on how to implement, kung kailan ba siya mararamdaman ng tao. And I think nahanapan nila ng solusyon para immediate yung impact nito sa bawat bahay, no? Kasi ang LPG household use talaga yung pinakamataas. So, ito po ang mga minimum adjustments na or rollback na sinet namin sa mga oil companies. And today, as we have seen in the news or even in social media, na at least ito yung amount. They have deducted even more than this. Iba nga 23 pesos yung rollback. Eh. Ang as of today, one of the main roles or utos ng presidente also, not only in the price, but I think the most important instruction of the president and the primary one at that for DOE is to make sure that meron tayong supply. Ang supply po natin is we are averaging at about 50 days. Um, wala dito sa akin yung number, ano. 50 days on average on all the products. On kerosene, ano, meron mali. The the current gas level is about 50 57. The current in country for, I'm sorry. All right, okay, I got it. For LPG is 36. For kerosene is 105 days. Then diesel is 49 days. And then gasoline is 54 days. The lowest right now is at 36 days of LPG. But yesterday we confirmed an order together with PNOC and our oil companies na nangangailangan. And we have made an order, additional order yesterday morning, and I think we will reach about 50 days by today also on average. So maganda pa naman yung supply level natin, but that will depend also on what will happen with the Strait of Hormuz, anong availability ng oil sa ibang country. So, pero maganda pong number na to kasi binibigyan tayo ng 50 days to make the replenishment. Hindi po mauubos 'to pagka after 50 days. Ang ibig sabihin nito makakahanap tayo habang kinukonsumo na natin within the 50 days. So, eto po yung status ngayon ng energy no, ng fuel supply natin. And other than that, the DOE is continuing to work on some long-term solutions like fast tracking solar rooftop solar, net metering, dinadagdagan natin yung mga renewable natin. Bakit kasi kailangan to? Kasi para hindi na tayo less and less dependent to diesel, we are less vulnerable to the Middle East war. So, kailangan po talaga bawasan natin yung konsumo natin, whether in the programs of the government, but also in our day-to-day activities like ating mga opisina, ating mga bahay, kung pwede nating mabawasan sana ang konsumo sa electricity tsaka sa fuel. So, that's it for me. But, well, for the 10 peso discount, if you want, for the 10 peso discount today, I'll start with my part, no? And then and Secretary Lopez can continue. There's a 10 peso discount for every jeepney today, starting today, for diesel consumption. Which gas stations will be participating as a pilot or phase one, because this is a new program. This is on top of the other programs of government. We are targeting 52 gas stations in NCR, in Metro Manila. And 52 yan kasi yun yung nakalista na may mga permit sa amin. And so far, there are 33 na na-enroll na. The other 19 stations, ongoing yung enrollment. So within the day, makukumpleto na yung 19. O kung meron man kayong mapuntahan na gas station na hindi nag-o-offer, dahil ayaw nilang sumama sa discounting. So this is 52 gas stations in Metro Manila. All the registered and legally operating, kasama sila kahit anumang brand yan. Basta gusto na sumama, included po sila. Makikita rin yan ng mga kababayan natin or mga jeepney drivers. May signage din yan kung pwede silang mag-avail ng 10 pesos. There's no other requirement other than kailangan jeepney yung dala mo. Banoy, go ahead.
Magandang tanghali po sa inyong lahat. Kanina nga po, no, nagkaroon tayo ng pangatlong uplift meeting. At talagang pinapaalala sa atin ng ating Pangulo na kailangan na magtulungan kami, mga iba't ibang ahensya ng ating pamahalaan. So ito nga po, kasama ang DOE, ang DICT, Land Bank at DOTR at saka LTFRB, nagsimula na po ngayong araw yung sinasabi natin na 10 pesos per liter discount. No, ito po ay isang fuel subsidy program at pinapangunahan po ito ng DOE kasi sila po ay nagipag-ugnayan sa ating mga participating gasoline stations. Sa atin naman sa DOTR sa LTFRB, ang aming responsibilidad ay magbigay ng listahan ng lehitimong operators o drivers pagdating sa ating pampublikong sasakyan na ito po yung modern jeepney, traditional jeepney, modern UV Express, traditional UV Express. Importante po itong programang ito kasi mas matitiyak po natin na merong natuloy-tuloy po ang pasada ng ating mga jeepney at saka UV Express. Kung meron po silang mas madaming masasakyan at available na public utility vehicle, makakasiguro din po tayo na kahit papaano mababawasan ang pila ng ating mga commuters at hindi rin po masasayang kanilang oras. So just a brief mechanics and guidelines dito sa 10 pesos per liter na discount po natin. Ang kasama po dito, ang kalahok po dito, since this is only for diesel po, no, na subsidiya, una po sa LTFRB po yung sinasabi nating legitimate operators and drivers po na pampublikong jeepney, modern and traditional. Kasama din po ang UV Express, modern and traditional. Ang gagawin po ng LTFRB, they're going to submit a white list po. Ibig sabihin, listahan po ng mga lehitimong operators sa atin sa land bank. Ngayon po, meron po tayong sinasabing participating gasoline stations. Meron po silang listahan din po ng mga sinasabi ng legitimate operators. Ito pong 10 pesos na discount kada litro, meron po itong cap, maximum cap per week po. Ito po ay 150 liters. So in other words, makakaasa po ang ating mga pampublikong sasakyan, itong jeepney at saka UV Express, ng maximum of 1,500 pesos po per week. Ngayon, kapag hindi po natin naubos yung 1,500 pesos, yan ba ay magke-carry over sa susunod na linggo? Hindi ho. Hindi po. So, kailangan na maubos that week, yung 5 days po na sinasabi natin yung 1,500 pesos or 150 liters po, no, na kada linggo. Sino ba makasama dito? Sabi nga po ni Secretary Garin, pilot po tayo dito sa NCR, Metro Manila, but i-roll out po natin ito nationwide. Ilang PUVs ba ang masasama dito? Sa bilang po namin, sa tansya po natin, ang UV Express at saka modern ang UV Express, ang jeep at saka jeepney natin is more or less 171,000 units. Thereabout. Siguro may sobra na apat na run, 171,400 plus. Dito naman po sa Metro Manila, kung saan magpapilot po tayo ng programang ito, ay around 33,000 units. Again, this is on top of the service contracting program that we are about to roll out tomorrow. So kung makikita nyo po talagang binibigyang halaga ng ating Pangulo ang ating mga pampublikong sasakyan, ang ating mga tsuper, ang ating mga operator. Ganoon na rin po ang ating mga commuters na talaga naman masasabi natin na direktang naapektuhan, unang-unang naapektuhan sa pagtaas ng presyo ng langis po. So, if there are any questions, si Ma'am Lynette. Si Ma'am Lynette
Good
kasama.
afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. I guess it's what is our role as Land Bank? We have provided a digital end-to-end solution to enable the subsidy and to make sure that it is easy and convenient. So the 52 gas stations have been onboarded or will be onboarded within the day. We have the list of who is qualified as far as PUVs and UVs are concerned. You will enable the subsidy through our mobile banking app. The mobile banking app will then you put in the station code, you put in the plate number of the vehicle, and the subsidy will then be applied. The solution is end to end from the beginning, where the driver goes to the gas station. The gas station will also be enabled all the way till the end so that the proper accounting is done. So we're happy that we've been able to provide this solution and work very closely with the DOE and the DOTR. Thank you.
Siguro po dagdagan ko lang ng konti, no? I mean, we have to look at this really totality ng tulong ng gobyerno sa transport sector, no? Baka sabihin 10 piso lang bawat litro to, pero kung pagsuma total mo lahat yan, no, it will be more than that. You have the service contracting, you have the 10 pesos per liter which we launched today. Meron pa tayong tupad i-launch din po yun. Tapos meron pa tayo yung additional AX at saka yung ating fuel subsidy program na tuloy-tuloy po ang programa. No? So all this put together, na-address na po yung ating mga problema ng ating transportasyon. No? Maybe siguro hindi lang natin alam kung gaano katagal to aabutin, but the program is already in place, and then as we go along, we solve the problems one at a time. Ito po, itong 10 pesos per liter will start off today in Marcos Highway. Tapos po bukas, around bigit kumulang mga 26,000 jeepneys and AUVs. Dito lang po sa NCR yan. Tapos yung sasabi ni SEC na 33,000, this will already involve yung mga pumapasok po sa NCR. Pag maganda po ang ating papapatupad dito, it's very simple. Wala akong gagawin yung mga driver, paparada lang ko sa gas station, no? Tapos malalaman ako kagad ng ating mga gas boy kung itong sasakyan na to, because of the app of Land Bank, kung itong sasakyan ay valid, no? May prangkisa, may permit sa LTFRB. So it's very simple in the upfront, at sa bandang huli naman, we will be working with Land Bank para yung ating mga gas stations ay sigurado mabayaran on time. Yun ang punuan. Salamat po.
Good morning, everyone. So, with regards to the pronouncement ng ating Pangulo tungkol sa excise tax, kasunod nga po ng masuring review po ng DBCC, ang DBCC po is taking a balanced and fiscally responsible approach to address yung ating pong kinakaharap. Now, ang inaaprubahan nga po ng ating Pangulo ay ang pagsuspindi po sa excise ng LPG at kerosene. Ngayon po, ang pagsuspindi po sa LPG at kerosene ng excise tax, ito po ay direktang tulong sa ating mga Pilipino at sa ating mga maliliit na negosyo tulad po ng karinderya. At sa estimate nga po, ang savings po for LPG will be around 36.96 pesos per 11 kilogram cylinder, at for kerosene is around 5.6 pesos per liter. Now, ang tulong na po na ito ay nakatuon po sa pinakamahihirap. Based po sa datos ng Family Income Expenditure Survey noong 2023, ito po ay isang survey done by the PSA, around 50% of the consumption of kerosene is coming from the bottom 30th. Ito po yung pinaka-mahihirap. Now, with regards to LPG, using the same survey, FIES, around 56% of the consumption of LPG ay dun po sa bottom 70th. So talagang direktang tulong po ito sa mga nangangailangan na pagsuspindi po ng LPG at kerosene. Now, with regards to diesel and gasoline, ang DBCC po will continue to monitor the situation, and actually there's a monthly review of the policy. But for now, nonetheless, with coordination from DOE and the Department of Transportation, nirekomenda rin po ng DBCC ang pagbigay po ng targeted subsidies through the 10 peso fuel discount.
Kami pong salamat. Para po sa unang katanungan, Chloe Ufana, Business World.
Hello. Hello.
Mic po pala.
Good morning. Good afternoon, Secretary Sharon Green. Ma'am, we have the 30-day waiver allowing Manila to purchase Russian crude expired on April 11. Are we actively negotiating with Washington to renew the waiver? And kumusta na po yung negotiations? Ano pong contingency measures should the negotiations fail? Thank you.
We have communicated with the Department of Foreign Affairs for another window or extension of the lifting ng embargo. So they have communicated this with our ambassador in the US. We're awaiting for their response, pero we're very positive on getting this other window. If it doesn't come through, we have other options also. Hindi lang naman kasi Russia ang nagpo-produce. Ang South America meron din. Sa, di ba, Colombia, Argentina, halos lahat sila niyan sa South America meron. Even Canada, US. They are different types of crude oil, pero ang refined products nila magagamit pa rin natin. Even in near countries like Brunei, India, marami pa rin naman tayong other options. We wanted to open the Russian window because we want more options. Diversification kailangan para hindi tayo dependent sa isang country lang.
Okay, timeline ma'am, kailan po kayo tayo makakarinig ng answer from the US regarding dun sa waiver? And meron pa po ba tayong mga hinihintay na deliveries from Russia?
So far, wala pa namang, as far as what has been reported, wala pa namang orders na standing. But kasi ang oil companies, they send us a report every week at wala kami nakita doon na order for Russia. But when do we expect? I cannot say that kasi hindi pa nasasabi ng DFA kung ano yung status at ano yung expectations nila.
Thank you, ma'am. For the Department of Finance, sir, according to a statement by Secretary Go kanina, the DBCC has determined that suspending excise taxes on diesel and gasoline would not likely provide meaningful relief. Sir, may you just expound on that, sir? What do you mean by no meaningful relief? And does the President echo, sir, this findings of the DBCC?
For that one, if you take a look at the excise on diesel, it's only 6 pesos per liter. And given the price increase of diesel pre-war na more or less 100 pesos, the 6 pesos decrease in that context is relatively small. That's why the ABCC, in coordination with the other agencies, particularly DOE and DOTR, decided to provide 10 peso discount instead of 6. And this 10 peso discount will be targeted, particularly for the most affected sectors.
And sir, ano pa po yung mga other scenarios na napag-usapan that led you to this conclusion, maliban po dun sa nabanggit nyo na excise tax is just at 6%? Ano pa pong other factors considered?
Ang mga kinonsider po nga namin ay actually lahat po ng option kinonsider namin at tiningnan po namin yung datos. Ang datos po, ang sinasabi nga po is for excise tax on diesel and gasoline, kung tingnan nyo po yung same survey na nabanggit ko kanina, yung FIES, for instance, for diesel, 85% of the consumption is actually the top 3 deciles. So kapag tinanggal po natin yung diesel, ang pinakamahikinabang po nito, yung pinakamaraming kumukonsumo, which is yung pinakamayaman. Kaya nga po, ang rekomendasyon po ng TBCCT is 10 peso na targeted dun po sa pinaka-naapektuhan talaga ng sitwasyon natin ngayon.
Yes.
Sunod po na tanong, Tristan Nadalon, Newswatch Plus.
Hi, good afternoon po. Follow-up lang din po on Chloe's question on the effect of the non-removal of excise tax on diesel and gasoline. While some lawmakers praise the Marcos administration for its calibrated approach, meron din pong mga umaaray, katulad po ng transport at commuters group saying they were left out and bumabiyahe na lang sila to survive. At bagamat may ayuda, hindi raw po ito nagtatagal. Sabi po nila, every centavo that can help ease the burden of the suffering public is welcome. Siguro po to the agencies and to the secretaries, paano po natin mapapaunawa sa transport, commuters group at working class na may effect itong pag-aalis din po ng excise tax sa diesel at gas at hindi pa siya pwedeng o hindi pa nararapat gawin ngayon?
Before finance, from the side of DOE, what we have seen, an increase in the price of diesel, ang pinakamalaking gamit sa diesel is transportation, which is 65% of our diesel consumption. So transportation, mahirap kasi sa transportation kasi ang pamasahe regulated, ang ang diesel nila hindi regulated. Pag tumaas yung isa, hindi pwedeng automatic taas din yung pamasahe. So, there has to be kailangang i-relieve yung pressure on high price of fuel, ano. So, when we were talking about with the OTR, with LTFRB, when we were talking about what can we do as another measure in addition to whatever their programs, ang isa dito is um, tulungan natin dapat yung transportation. Transportation does not only mean jeep. There's also buses, TNVS, tama? Buses, TNVS, and jeepneys. So, ang plano talaga lahat niyan. But we just need time to roll out kasi kailangan lahat 14,000 gas stations have to enroll eh. So, ang 10 pesos, actually, hindi yan hiningi ng mga kababayan natin or hindi rin hiningi ng mga drivers. But this is even more than what an excise tax exemption can offer, which is 10 pesos compared to 6 or kung kalahati lang yan, then 3 pesos lang. But this is a response that has been approved also by Uplift. Kasi ito talaga yung pinaka naiipit sa lahat. Yun yung transport, yung mga drivers natin kasi drive sila, hindi sila makasingil ng mas mahal pero mas mahal na yung binabayaran nila sa fuel. So this is one intervention I think na ang sinasabi namin sa Uplift which is targeted on the most vulnerable sector which is transportation. Pero I don't think there's a talk na nawala na yung possible excise. Eto nauna lang to kasi mas na-assess na namin to last week pa eh. So ang impact nito is ang implementation nito mas nauna because we did the study already before.
Tulad nga po ng nasabi po ng ating Secretary sa Energy, there will be a monthly review naman po nitong policy. So monthly, titingnan po ng DBCC kung kailangan po bang baguhin o maintain lang yung ating policy recommendation. Now, aside naman po sa 10 peso discount, meron pa pong mga other na gagawin pa ang ating gobyerno na most likely will be announced po ng ating Pangulo.
Question na lang po sa transport sector din. Sabi po tomorrow nga ilo-launch na rin yung service contracting program, but nagkaroon po ng issue before with the Duterte administration na may hindi pong nabayaran under that Libreng Sakay service contracting program around 32 million according to the Mega Manila Consortium Corporation. Siguro po this time around, ano pong plano ng Marcos administration para hindi maulit yung nangyaring kaguluhan sa pagbabayad po before?
Tama po. At nung pina-check po natin kung ano bang rason kung bakit may mga bayarin na dapat gawin ng LTFRB, ang isa pong malaking rason dyan ay dahil ang monitoring at that time is being done manually. Again, yan yung iniiwasan natin. If you do a manual monitoring, that is prone to leakage, that is prone to corruption. Hindi ko sinasabi na may corruption na po ngayon. Pero the verification and validation becomes very difficult po. So ngayon po ang ginawa natin sa programa natin, it's more of a GPS naman. That's why we're requiring our PUVs enrolled in our net service contracting program na magkaroon ng GPS para po wala na pong human intervention pagdating sa ruta ng kanilang tinagbo. At matitiyak natin na yung babayarin natin na ruta, yun yung tama at wasto. Again, there are some instances na meron tayong, we were going to allow them to have a manual monitoring sa mga sinasabi natin erratic yung signal ng ating GPS. Ganun pa man, mas mapapadali at we can focus on the monitoring of this. Mas maliit na segment po ito sa ating naka-enroll sa net service contracting kasi mas marami na po yung mag-GPS.
Meron po bang, yun nga po, no, yung sa bayarin, may timeline po ba like yung turnaround ng bayad sa mga magiging part ng program and even sa gas stations din po yung bayad doon sa liter?
Yes, under net service contracting po, no, within 3 to 5 days po, babayaran na po kaagad ng LTFRB. Ito po yung we're trying to make the most of this kasi po ang importante dito, hindi lang ho yung programa, yung urgency at saka yung pagkuha nila ng pera. No, kailangan mabayaran sila kaagad. Kasi po it defeats the program, it defeats the purpose. Kumpara if it will take some time for them to receive the money. So 3 to 5 days ho, babayaran sila ng LTFRB.
Yung sa 10 pesos, mangyayari kasi niyan, punta si driver sa gas station, tapos may bawas na 10 pesos yung babayaran niya. And then, magre-register yan sa app ng Land Bank. So once hopefully we can do this every week. Ang plano is weekly kasi may iba ding gas stations na hindi naman kaya monthly na bayaran sila, no? So ang ruta niyan is PNOC will fund the program through LTFRB, through the national government, then LTFRB will be the one paying Land Bank kung ano kailangan. Digital na lahat. Kaya ang rollout niya it will take time kasi kailangan mga gas stations may connectivity, may internet sila eh. So, yun pa yung ini-check namin kung paano siya, anong mangyayari kung walang wifi or walang internet sa ibang gas stations all over the country na. Thank you.
Bibigyan din ko lang po din yung sinabi ni Secretary Garin po, no? Dito sa 10 pesos po natin na fuel subsidy, ang babayaran po natin is the gasoline stations. Again, yung ating mga drivers and operators, pag nagpakarga po sila ng crude o diesel, automatic reduction na po yan. Lalabas sa kanilang resibo. For example, magkano po ngayon ang kada litro? Sabihin natin 150. Kapag magpapakarga sila ng crudo ngayon sa participating gasoline stations, 140 na lang po ang lalabas sa kanilang resibo. Wala pong masyadong complications pagdating sa atin sa ating mga drivers and operators. The payment would be Land Bank to the participating gasoline stations.
Sunod na tanong, Katrina Domingo, ABS-CBN.
Good afternoon po. For the Department of Finance or the Department of Energy, magkano po yung expected losses ng gobyerno dahil po doon sa suspension ng excise tax, first on LPG, second on kerosene, and magkano rin po yung projected losses sa gobyerno if the DBCC would eventually consider suspending the excise tax on diesel and gasoline?
For LPG and kerosene, if you take a look at the law, it's a maximum of 3 months muna. So let's talk about 3 months. In assuming $100 price per barrel on average. So for full suspension of LPG and kerosene, the losses will be around 4.1 billion pesos for 3 months. Now, if you decide to include a suspension of diesel and gasoline and LPG and kerosene on top, it will be around 43.6 billion pesos losses in 3 months.
Sir,
43.6.
Sir, I'm sorry, medyo complicated. Can we not lump sum yung apat na kinds? Meron po ba kayong specific breakdown? Because it's possible that the TBCC would recommend only the suspension of one petroleum product and not all four.
For now, the LPG and kerosene kinumbine namin kasi yun naman yung recommendation at yun na-aprobohan. For diesel and gasoline, we can just provide you in a later, after this meeting.
Ano-ano pong programa yung mawawala ng pondo because of the expected 4.1 billion reduction, assuming that we will maximize its implementation by the maximum allowable time period of 3 months?
Wala pa naman po na pag-uusapan kung ano yung mawawalan ng pondo at we will defer po sa DBM kung ano po yung magiging priorities if ever mayroon po talagang losses na 4.1 billion pesos.
Sir, yesterday the president mentioned that he expects to get windfall profit from the increased oil products because of the VAT as well. Kaya po daw medyo reluctant yung gobyerno na tanggalin yung VAT. How much po yung projected na windfall profit from VAT?
Hindi po siya windfall profit. It's additional VAT collection because of higher fuel prices. So if we're talking about, again, $100 price per barrel average, and for 3 months, and assuming there's already a suspension on LPG and kerosene, around 13 billion for 3 months.
Sir, sorry, 13 billion for 3
3
months
months.
yung dagdag na
Additional
kikitain.
VAT collection.
Okay, sir, is that not enough to offset the losses that the government will incur for the DBCC to consider recommending the suspension of diesel and gasoline?
Again, if you consider full suspension of diesel and gasoline, if you include it, again, the total losses will be 43.6 billion. And your additional VAT collection will be around 13 to 14 billion, and hence there's a net negative
Yes.
revenue loss of around 30 billion in
Yes,
3
sir.
months.
Sir, 30 billion, but but basically some people are saying, business groups are saying that the DSWD can actually afford to spend 30 billion on ayuda programs. Why not spend 30 billion more for a program that would cover all bases, all classes across the board and not just a segment of the population?
Tulad nga po ng sinabi namin, ang direction po ngayon is targeted subsidies. So gusto po namin unahin munang tulungan yung mga nangangailangan po talaga. At tulad nga po ng sinabi ko kanina, for example nga po yung diesel based sa FIES data, 85% of the consumption of diesel is coming from the 3 richest decile. So yun po, targeted subsidies po ang ating ginagawa.
Sir, let me just challenge that point a bit. Ma'am, would you want to answer? Sorry.
I just wanted
Yes,
to
please.
add, bakit siya, I think this was discussed kasi earlier, why is there a focus on the most vulnerable? Kasi di ba, compare mo yung isang tao na kumikita ng 1,000 tsaka 100,000. Now, 1,000 and 100,000. The difference between the two, when you increase the price of fuel, ang sa 100,000, siguro mababawasan as a percentage, maliit lang at walang malaking impact sa day-to-day niya. Siguro baka bawasan niya yung biyahe niya para hindi masyadong magastos sa diesel, ano. But on the other hand, a family that earns 1,000, just as an example, kung mag-increase ka ng fuel from 60 pesos to 150 pesos, babawasan talaga, hindi lang yung biyahe, pagkain, yung kailangan ng pamilya nila na day to day, sa mga anak nila, even for their health. So, that's why if if uh, if the impact of the Middle East war, which was not caused by our country, is the increase on the price of fuel. Ang the lowest, anong tawag niya doon, decile, will even be lower because there will be poorer and new poor pa. I think that yun yung yata yung term nila kanina sa discussion. So madadagdagan pa yung mga nasa lowest decile natin. Yun yung logic din. It's to protect the lower income countries from becoming lower pa income and also not increase the number of low income countries. So because at the grander scale of things, ang growth ng economy natin will be more affected kung mas marami po ang poverty level mo.
Ma'am, I think yung sinasabi po kasi nung ibang business groups, it's not that they don't want to help the poorest of the poor. It's just that between your example of 1,000 and
Yes.
100,000, marami pong Pilipino yung nasa 30,000 lang, 25,000 lang. How does the government respond to criticisms from business groups that the middle class, yung hindi po ganun kayaman, na malaki yung nakakalta sa tax nila and yet they are not qualified for any form of ayuda from the government?
Yes, it's a correct concern because marami akong kaibigan din na nagsasabi dyan na they all pay their taxes and they're also affected. This is I think the government has to see it in a macro level, hindi lang na individual. Kasi kung dadami po ang ating poverty level, hamba nag-increase siya from, I'm not certain, DOF can answer this, kung anong level ng poverty natin. If it increases, it won't only affect those that have become sa poverty level natin. It will affect the whole country kasi, yung growth ng whole country. So, if you don't cater first to those na mas nangangailangan, I think that disadvantage of that will be felt by everyone, whether you are a middle class or upper or lower, no? So, on the economic, I'm not dev, I'm just trying to explain this on a more understandable na para hindi po ma-affect yung buong ekonomiya ng buong Pilipinas. Meron talagang targeted subsidy para to avoid worsening of the situation and to avoid stagflation yata yung tawag nila, no? So, baka mas marami pang problema makokos pag hindi mo muna iayusin yung most affected area.
Just to answer your question, so ang mandato po ng DOF ay magkolekta po ng revenues para meron po tayong magastos at mabigay na programa. Yun po ang pinakamandato ng DOF. Ngayon, ang sinasabi po natin, kuwari, tanggalin po natin yung excise, kuwari sa diesel. Karamihan po ng nagbabayad ng excise based on consumption, pinakamaraming nagkukonsume nito at hence pinakamalaking nagbabayad ng tax nito ay yung pinakamayaman. So kung tanggalin natin to, we had 50 billion pesos. So meron tayong 50 billion na hindi maibibigay na tulong sa mga vulnerable at middle income classes. Yun po ang implikasyon nito. Kaya po ang direction po natin ngayon for now is targeted. Unahin po natin na yung most vulnerable, but that doesn't mean that we will not provide for the others, particularly the middle income classes. Pinag-uusapan po yan sa uplift at pinag-uusapan po yung ating mga rekomendasyon at mga options paano po matulungan ng lahat, not just the vulnerable, the poorest of the poor, but also the middle income class.
Sir, last on my end, para lang po matame yung medyo rage in society, especially among the taxpayers, ano po yung suggestions in the pipeline for the middle class? Because what we don't want to happen is that to present a false dichotomy na it's one or the other. Ano po yung mga proyekto sa pipeline that will directly benefit those who are not being targeted by subsidies, who have also been reeling from this crisis for over a month already?
Meron na po tayong mga current programs na not directly but indirectly impact ito pong ating mga middle and including the most vulnerable. Like for instance, binabaan po natin yung mga ports fee. Binabaan po na, meron po yata moratorium or tinanggal po actually yung mga toll fees sa mga logistics. So yun po, may direct impact po yun sa prices ng goods and services na kinukonsumo po, hindi lang po ng mahirap but also the middle income classes. So it's not a direct subsidy but it's indirect. Now, for the other programs, hindi po namin ipipreempt ang mga anunsyo na manggagaling po sa ating presidente. Pero ang masasabi ko lang po, ito po ay pinag-uusapan sa uplift.
Salamat po. Sunod na tanong, Maris Umali, GMA News.
Hello, Secretary Garin. Good afternoon po. After today's rollback in petroleum prices, can the consumers expect this trend to continue in the coming weeks? Or should we instead prepare for another round of increases, especially with the global oil prices increasing anew after US President Donald Trump ordered a naval blockade in the Strait of Hormuz?
Bakit may rollback? Because how we compute it is the average of Monday to Friday last week. Kumpara namin yun sa week before, yung presyo. Then tapos yung difference, yun yung adjustment, whether you go up or you go down. Nag-rollback siya kasi bumaba yung presyo last week. Why did it go down? Kasi nag-announce ng ceasefire, 2 weeks. Pero 2 days after the ceasefire, may pronouncement na naman si Trump. And then yesterday, I mean, if you've seen the news or even follow the chart of the international market, umakyat na naman, pababa, paakyat, pero umaakyat na naman. So, will it continue? I cannot tell you. Because it depends on the tweet of President Trump. Kung ano yung masasabihin niya, it has an effect. Unfortunately, it has an effect on the trading prices, di ba? May masasabi lang maganda, bababa. May sasabihin naman na confusing things, then goes up again. So we are really at the mercy of these countries that are not even, we are not even part of it. Ano? So will it continue to go down? There's no assurance for that. If they still continue the war, then if they stop the war, for example, today, just ano na lang. Now, if they stop the war today, I think the prices will still be on the high side for a few months pa rin.
But do we have at least a time frame as to how long can we sustain the 10 peso uh,
And the subsidy, the discount,
yes,
we
since
are
we cannot
correct.
say up to when we can decrease
Correct.
the
We are planning to have it at least 3 to 4 months. And I do understand that this is not ano, hindi na ganito to ka significant compared to the increase, but as everybody says, any amount will help in ano, kasi meron namang ibang programs din. Even our oil companies have their own discounts, but we're envisioning about 3 to 4 months. Hopefully, I mean, we don't know if hopefully it's shorter than than 4 months, but kung kaya lang talaga ma-fundingan, then we'll keep on continuing that program.
Thank you, Secretary. Secretary Banoy, going to the implementation of service contracting program, can we just get more details? You mentioned that it's going to start tomorrow. How will it be implemented exactly? Do PUVs need to register? Saan-saan pong lugar ang sakop nito? Is this just a 2-week run? Or hahaba pa po? And humihingi raw po kasi yung Department of Transportation ng additional 5 billion peso from DBM to extend this. Can you just give us details on these matters?
Opo, hello? Ayan. Opo, tama po. At bukas nga po, magsisimula yung net service contracting natin. At dito sa initial implementation natin, we're talking about 50 routes po. At meron po dito sa atin sa Metro Manila, kasama din yung mga ibang lugar po. At we asked already for a 5 billion additional budget. Kanina po nag-usap kami ni Secretary Beltran at tama, Sec Rolly ng DBM para tingnan po namin kung saan namin makukuha yung ating net service contracting additional funding. As to the mechanics po, ibibigay ko kay Chairman Vigor po, no, kung paano po implementation. Pero tama po kayo, may onboarding na gagawin ng ating mga qualified PUVs, and within 24 hours dapat po na ma-onboard na sila so they can join and start the program po.
Yung ating gagawin, online rin po to, no? Where take advantage of technology. Online sila, bubuksan nila yung portal ng LTFRB. Lalabas na po doon yung service contracting, kiklik lang na yun. Parang registration form, one-pager lang po yun. Sasagad, ilalagay yung pangalan po nila, yung case number nila, at anong klaseng sasakyan meron sila. Ilalagay, type lang nila, sulat nila yung plate number ng mga sasakyan na gusto nila isali sa program, no? Tapos kung gusto nila makita yung mga rota, meron yung referral click na nila, lahat ng rota ho, naka-arrange na po yun, lalabas, titignan nila kung kasama sila sa rota. Tapos pupuduin lang po yung form na yon. Ang pinakahuli doon that they will consent to the terms and conditions ng ating service contracting program, which is basically yung kailangan nila tumakbo araw-araw, no? At least 100 kilometers a day. Yun na po covered ng ating programa. They have to afford the passengers with a 20% discount, no? And kailangan po nila maglagay ng karatula sa kanilang sasakyan na sila ay kasama sa service contracting program para ma-identify po ng mga pasahero na sila yung sasakyan na magbibigay ng discount, no? Tapos pagkatapos po nun, i-upload lang po nila, kiklik nila, upload na po yan. Meron tayong mga evaluators, titignan, yung mga sasakyan na yan ay duly authorized ng LTFRB, that on the same day, maglalabas ko ng confirmation note po doon, magkakaroon po ng QR code para po sa kanila, no? Tapos magkakaroon po ng sample na template ng signage na kailangan po nila ilagay sa kanilang sasakyan. And then confirm onboarded na po sila niya. Now, doon sa mga rota po kanyan, we're now organizing the routes, no? We're now testing the GPS signal. So, kakaiba ng programa ito compared to other programs in the past. Dati kasi yung mga GPS providers, nagbibigay ng report sa LTFRB based on the takbo ng kanilang mga customer, no? Ito ngayon iba, no? LTFRB daw will be more proactive. I-access namin yung data ng GPS provider, no? There are two reasons behind this. Number one, to avoid, para mas mabilis yung processing time namin, hindi namin hihintayin yung report ng GPS provider. Instead, we will check data of GPS provider. At marami ko tayong taong talaga para dyan. Tapos pangalawa, to avoid also collusion between the GPS provider at saka yung operator. Baka naman nagkukulyod sila, no, para masira namin yung ating programa. So ganun lang po. Tapos everyday po yan, upload the data, we check the data every day para yung ating 3 to 5 days, calendar days sa pagbayad. Ang pagbayad naman is either to their designated bank account or e-wallet provider para mabilis po ating turnaround.
My last question is on subsidy for DOTR, LTFRB, or Ma'am Lynette of Land Bank. Kasi another complication is yung mga plate numbers po ng mga PUVs na wala sa master list of Land Bank. So they're not automatically qualified. So is there a way for them to be included? Paano po ba? Kasi we've talked to a lot of PUV mga drivers and ito yung problema. Kasama sila sa mga TODA, sa mga organisasyon, but they have not been included in the master list, so they're not getting any subsidies at all.
Iba yung master list ng DSW dito kasi yung master list ng DSWD yan yung pangkalahatan talaga. No?
Kasi sabi nila sa LTFRB sila nagkakaproblema.
Opo. Well, meron tayong mga concern desk in various platforms, social media platforms, that they can raise those concerns, no? Na hindi sila nakasama yung kanilang sasakyan for whatever reason, but i-check naman kung namin kagad yan. And then this list that we're giving Land Bank, as sinabi rin natin sa Land Bank, this is not a static list, no? Kasi nagko-confirm yung unit every month, may mga bagong units na nababago, gano'n, no? So whenever there is a change, we will inform Land Bank na isali itong sasakyan na to or i-remove this vehicle, whatever is the status of the vehicle at the time. So moving list po to. Kung meron problema, may nakaligtaan, meron naman tayo mga online desk that can address their concerns.
So this would also include yung mga halimbawa namatay na yung operator. Kasi ang problema, when I talk to some drivers, na ibenta na raw sa kanila yung lisensya, yung prangkisa, but they're not being accepted by the LTFRB raw because yung pinaka-operator namatay
Hindi
na.
po, that's not relevant for this kind of subsidy.
Alright.
Kasi ang ating pinagbabasan yung sasakyan. So basta that
But they
vehicle,
will also be considered when they apply for other subsidies or for other benefits that they can possibly get?
for other benefits na kailangan po yung pangalan ng operator, meron naman tayong proseso na pwede nilang daanan para makorek ko nila yung entries na yon. Ang nagkakataon lang kasi napapabayaan to time, di ba? Pero meron tayong simplified version, hindi na nila kailangan bumalik dun sa taong pinagkunan nila ng sasakyan na pwede nilang ilipat dun sa tamang, they can correct their own entries, pwede nilang correct yung record sila para sa kanila mismo pumunta yung benepisyo.
Yes, I think from Land Bank's end, we rely solely on the list that comes from FRB. Yeah, thank you.
If there are concerns, then they can we've coordinated with the ICT for any concerns. Kaya nga pilot muna para makita namin kung anong problem. And then also each office has a help desk also. Kaya itatry natin kung ano yung mga problema this week in NCR, and if everything goes okay, then we can scale that to nationwide na siya. Thank you.
Sunod po na tanong, Rafi Ayay, Daily Tribune.
At may echo.
Kay Secretary Garin, clarification lang po. You mentioned kanina 39 out of 52 players na po ang onboarded. So ma'am, so upon the discretion pa po pala this time ng mga players ang pagbibigay ng 10 peso discount. Kasi parang kawawa naman yung mga driver. Pag pumunta sila sa station na to, ay hindi pala to accredited. Lilipat na naman sila sa kabilang stasyon. Ubus na po yung diesel nila.
I have issued a directive this morning na lahat na na legitimate gas stations have to participate. So halos lahat naman, no? Why is it only 33 out of 52? Kasi hindi pa tapos yung pag-register nila sa Land Bank app. So ngayon po tinatrabaho na. As of kanina, nung hindi pa kami pumapasok, 33 ang na-confirm. So, but now, I think there are more now. Umiikot actually ang mga taga-Land Bank ngayon eh. Iniisa-isa nila yung gas stations. Yes, ma'am. Go
Yes.
ahead.
Yeah, Secretary, thank you. I think we assure the public that the 52 will be onboarded today. So we're all hands on deck just to make sure that the 52 gas stations will be opening land bank accounts. And as I mentioned, this is really through our mobile banking app. So everything becomes very easy and convenient for both the gas station and we hope for the PUV drivers as well.
And yung PUB drivers po natin, hindi po lahat techie ha. So,
Ay,
hindi po lahat may
Hindi
cellphone.
naman kung
Ito.
po kailangan eh.
Okay.
Kailangan na. Okay.
Clarify lang po yan.
Punta ka, ako, kailangan dala ko jeep ko kung ako yung PUV driver. Hindi pwede na ibang kotse dala ko. Kasi yung plate number, ang plate number ang titignan ng attendant. Now, si attendant, meron ng app siya. So, siya lang may kailangang may app. Input niya yung station number,
Station code.
tsaka yung plate number. Yun lang. Pag nag-match yan, sasabihin, may 100 liters pa siyang pwede magkaroon ng 10 peso discount. So, kaya kailangan lang connected para wala nang mano-mano, wala nang coupon.
Monitoring the situation. And at the point of the DBC lang po, any proposal, particularly any suspension of taxes, should be progressive and fair. So just like in the excise tax, nakita po natin, ang karamihan po nagbabayad ng excise tax ay yung mayayaman. So kapag tinanggal po yung excise tax, ang pinamakinabang po nito ay mayayaman. At mawawalan ka po ng pera para pundahan po yung other programs like the fuel discounts, the service contract agreements, etc. So yun po yung main consideration ng DBCC. It should be fair, progressive, and we should be mindful kung ano yung ating pong revenues. Kasi importante po ang revenues para po makapagbigay ng subsidies po ang gobyerno.
So the DBCC is not likely to recommend suspension of VAT
For now, it's not part of the recommendation, and you would need
revenues if we decide to suspend VAT in case magkaroon ng legislation na
more or less ang aming estimate, if it's for 8 months until December, 120 billion plus.
120 billion will be lost
Plus.
sa revenues.
Yes. And we would like to note as well na kapag tinanggal mo yung VAT, it does not necessarily mean na magdi-decrease din yung presyo ng oil.
Kasi they can choose not to consume.
Hindi, kasi when you accept oil, ang VAT po kasi relatively complicated. May output ka po at may input VAT. Kapag exempt po ang produkto ng fuel, which is yung output mo, meron ka pong mga input na hindi mo ma-claim. Ibig sabihin, para ma-claim mo to, kailangan mo dagdagan lang yung presyo. Kaya nga po, when we discuss VAT, ang net effective VAT rate is really 5%. It's not at 12%. Kasi may output, tas may kiniklaim kang input. So kapag in-exempt mo yung fuel, may input VAT ka na may ipit, at most likely ang gagawin po ng mga companies, ipapatong lang nila dun sa presyo. So it's more complicated than suspending excise. Kasi yung excise per liter lang siya. Tatanggalin mo siya per liter. Kapag may 1 liter ka dyan, may 6 pesos ka dapat patatanggal dyan. VAT is very different.
Hence yung inyong recommendation.
Hence for now, again, we are closely monitoring all of these options.
Salamat po.
Para po sa waling katanungan, Kat Domingo, ABS-CBN.
For clarification again from the DOF, how much is the government's wiggle room before it is imperative for us to borrow or to secure more loans to fund these programs to address the oil price shocks?
For now, we are committed to our fiscal consolidation for this year. We will be assessing our revenue and expenditure soon as part of the budgetary process o yung budget expenditure sources of financing for 2027. At doon po, yung DBCC po, titingnan po kung ano na po yung emerging revenues natin.
Sir, meron po tayong computation. Di ba po merong order for austerity measures ang gobyerno, meron po ba tayong computation as to how much yung possibly matitipid ng gobyerno? Magkano po yung savings from those
Ah,
austerity measures?
According sa DBM, di po kami ang nag-compute nito, DBM, it's ranging from 14 to 25 plus. But the DBM can provide more details on this.
14 to
Billion.
25 billion in how
Billion.
many months?
I think it's until December, from April to December.
Sir, ito yung mga ano lang po, no, yung 4-day work week, hindi pa po kasama yung suspension ng lahat ng, let's say, miscellaneous activities, out-of-town seminars, and the like.
Yun po ang pagkakaalam ko, pero DBM po ang mga kasagutan.
Sir, last na po, for DOE and or DOTR, just for, may mga hindi lang po kasi sure, yung kerosene po, yung adjustments dun sa kerosene price, may direct effect po ba to sa jet fuel? I understand na meron pong additional mixes involved when for you to come up with jet fuel. Paano po, may impact po ba yung adjustments dun sa kerosene prices sa airfare?
And the airfare.
Jet fuel, ma'am, sa inyo, tas airfare kay Sec Banoy.
No, because kerosene, hindi lang yan pang lampara eh.
Yes, ma'am. Sabi po
It's
nung, yes.
It's used
addition-
for aviation also. I'll get back to because we are also today because kahapon na nga yung announcement. We're computing the impact on the pump price, let's say, no, and also we will include the impact on the jet fuel. We'll report when we go kasi right now ang dalawang task ng DOE which we are evaluating now is how much is the impact on the pump price. Second is how do we monitor, make sure that it's being implemented. So we're just finishing it today and we'll report once we have it. Thank you.
Thank you po. Last follow-up na lang po. Chloe Pana, Business World.
Hello, to the DOF. Sir, what are the revenue measures the DOF is planning to offset the losses?
May nabanggit po ang aming secretary na mga measures na tinitingnan po namin to at ito po ay consistent sa aming mandato na ensure na meron po tayo revenues para po meron po tayo ma-provide ng programa ang gobyerno. We will discuss it in the proper forum, yung itong mga reforms na nabanggit po ng aming secretary.
Thank you.
Maraming salamat po. Wala na pong katanungan mula sa MPC. Balik na po sa UUSEC.
Thank you very much. Pero hindi pa po tayo tapos. May katanungan po tayo. Una-una po, tanong po muna natin. Sa Land Bank kay Ma'am Lynette Ortiz. Ma'am, sabi niyo po ay dapat online. Paano if in case may isang driver na nagpakarga pero offline yung gasoline station? Ano po yung remedyo?
Okay, I think we will the gas stations po would have a list of all the gas stations who are accredited and onboarded. So kung offline po yung particular gas station, we will direct and train all gas stations to provide alternatives po para kung just in case offline, meron pong other gas stations silang mapuntahan.
Pwede po kaya na, kasi ganito, di ba, may mga value cards tayo minsan, tapos offline yung gas station. So, pwedeng sasabihin na, balik po kayo, basta dali nyo lang yung resibo. Pwede po bang ganon?
Yes, we can assess that. But kasi po, our solution is really for it to be end-to-end. Na pati po yung accounting, yung how the particular gas station will recoup, paano po siya mababayaran, it really has to be all done online. So we're working out all of the kinks. I think that's precisely why we have these couple of days to really be able to see all the scenarios and situations para we can address them properly. What we also have would be the proper communications. We have FAQs that we will be sharing. It will be available in the various sites of not only Land Bank, but DOE, DOTR, LTFRB, so that po yung information will be properly disseminated even in social media.
Kasi kung lilipat sila sa ibang gas station, masasayang din po yung gas na
Of course,
magagamit
I
nila.
understand, ma'am.
Apo.
Yeah.
At mape-prevent po ba natin kung may mga scammer, baka sabihin ng driver, ay hindi ako nagpakarga niyan. Ma-avoid po ba natin? Yung parang pag nag-deliver sa inyo ng mga sa online shopping, may picture, dapat po ba may ganun para ma-avoid yung any question or similar situation like that?
Yes, well, as I mentioned, ma'am, we are relying solely on the LTFRB list, and based on the plate, that would be really the information that would be most important to make sure that talagang deserving yung particular vehicle na yon. But as I mentioned, ma'am, what we're doing is in this rollout, all of the possible scenarios we're going to try to assess so that if there are weaknesses in the processes, we can plug them immediately.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Kay Chair Vigor Mendoza or kay Sec Lopez. Sir, ang beneficiary po ba natin ng service contracting ngayon ay yung mga lehitimo na driver?
Yes, ma'am.
Opo, so maa-avoid dito yung mga kolorum.
Yes, ma'am. The same way with this, hello?
Sige po, sir. Meron na po.
Yes, ma'am. Pareho po yung service contracting program natin.
Ano?
Wala. Hello? Hello? Yes, ma'am. Pareho po yung service contracting program natin at saka yung fuel subsidy program natin. Alalahanin po natin, nakabase po yung ating listahan dito kung ano po yung nasa LTFRB. At kung ano po yung nasa LTFRB, ito po yung may mga prangkisa. Ito po yung may mga provisional authority.
Kasi binanggit kanina ni Miss Maris Umali na may mga driver na sila na yung bumili ng prangkisa pero parang wala pa yata silang result kung sila ay na-approvean. So definitely sila ay hindi agad makakapag-avail nito dahil ang iuunahin natin ay yung mga may lehitimong prangkisa, sir.
At tama po, but not really po. No? Kasi po kapag meron na rin po kayong prangkisa, basta nasa record na rin tayo. If it's a matter of ownership lang, change of ownership po, makakasama pa rin naman po kayo. Kasi again, this is yung programa po natin for the fuel discount or subsidy po. This is a vehicle specific nga po. No? Ang chine-check natin dito yung plate number. At kung walang plate number, baka doon tayo hihingi ng iyong prangkisa. So mga sinumite po natin ngayon sa land bank, ang sinumite po ng land bank sa ating participating gasoline stations are the plate numbers of these qualified PUVs po. Again, the issue of the franchise, hindi po yan ganon kailangan kasi nga po basta meron kang plate number at yung franchise nyo, isipin nyo pa to pupunta po ang isang driver. Yun po yung kinikwento kanina ng DOE, ang gasoline boy at ang gasoline station, titingnan po yung iyong plate number. Hindi niya po hingin ang iyong prangkisa. At itatali niya po, titingnan niya po sa kanyang listahan through the Land Bank app kung kasama po ang iyong sasakyan. Then plug and play, kakargahan na po kayo, may automatic deduction na kayo, tapos yung back-end kami na po ang mag-uusap ng Land Bank at gasoline station kung magkano po yung babayaran. So, ganun po, ma'am.
Thank you. Halimbawa po, sir, yung isang driver ay nakapag-avail na po at beneficiary na po ng isang service contracting, let's say Manila. Sila po ba ay mabibenepisyohan pa rin ng service contracting ng DOTR, ng LTFRB, or uunahin yung hindi pa po nakaka-avail ng ganitong klaseng benepisyo?
Maaari po na mag-overlap pa rin po. No? Makakasama sila sa net service contracting, makakasama rin po dito sa fuel discount subsidy program. Pero ito nga po yung sinasabi natin kay Chairman Vigor, kung baka naman yung mga hindi nasama sa net service contracting ay bibigyan natin ng prioridad, at least para dito sa fuel subsidy program po itong discount. But most likely than not, ma'am, because nga sa dami po ng ating PUVs, PUJs na makakalahok sa net service contracting, malamang po makakasama rin sila kaagad dito sa fuel discount subsidy program natin. Ang sabi naman po ng ating Pangulo, hindi naman po dapat natin binibilang ang tulong na binibigay natin sa ating mga chopper at operator po.
So pakiusap na lang din po natin sa mga driver na makakapag-avail nito at magiging beneficiary ng service contracting, gamitin niyo po sa tama itong binibigay na ayuda ng ating pamahalaan. At punta naman po tayo kay Secretary Sharon Garin. Ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
kahapon po ay kayo po ay naimbitahan sa Senado. At nabanggit po dito na 2-day work week lang po ang DOE. At kayo daw po ay nagbabakasyon. Pakisabi niyo nga po, ma'am, kung ano po ang nagagawa ng DOE sa pamumuno po ninyo sa isang 2-day work week.
The point of DOE, kasi alam namin yung sitwasyon, kung ano yung status ng inventory natin and how to maintain our inventory. From the first day pa lang, yung sinasabi namin, if we want to extend our inventory, we need to save on fuel. We need to save on electricity. Imbes na 50 days yan, pwedeng umabot 100 days kung lahat-lahat po nagtutulungan. Now, the work from home on the part of DOE is to prove a point. Kaya pwede kang magtrabaho ng sapat at effective at as needed by the country despite work from home. And I think kung tignan nyo naman kung anong pinanggagawa ng DOE na maghanap ng, which was never been a role of DOE, maghanap ng source kung saang mang country, buy 2 million barrels of diesel, talk to all embassies, contact all the countries, even inspect all, pati ito yung building yun, na-inspect na namin to, inspect 1,000 government buildings, do our auctions for renewable energy and promote net metering and all that. Tuloy-tuloy po yung trabaho. We haven't stopped. Actually, we work more now because ang weekends pa wala nang boundary when you work from home. So mas nadadagdagan talaga. Wala nang lunch break, wala ring dinner break. Kundi tuloy-tuloy na lang. Basta what we want to show is that kasi po we are on unpredictable times and we want every drop of diesel to count. Every drop will make a difference. Every drop of diesel, liter of diesel that you save will help the country talaga. Nakakatulong talaga yan. Kahit patayin mo lang yung ilaw mo, laking tulong na po sa bansa yan. And that's what we wanted to show. But I do respect and I do understand the concern of the Senate, and we will do as they have advised us. But I have repeatedly said this na ang DOE po, tuloy-tuloy po yung trabaho. Kahit nga ngayon, kahit nag-rollback, wala pa rin tigil kami kasi alam namin baka umakyat ulit or bumaba pa, no? Pero we continue, we look for solutions. Kahit hindi po nga namin trabaho, ginagawa namin because we know we are capable of helping out also. And that's whether we are at home or at work, at the office, basta ang sinisigurado lang, they are all technocrats and they are very mature employees of government, that we work as we deserve, no? We work, dapat kailangan talaga, Claire, kailangan sulit ang bayad ng bayan sa kada empleyado ng gobyerno. And that's what the culture of DOE is and always have been.
Okay, ma'am, tanong pa po. Since 2-day work week lang kayo, wala daw naiiwan sa opisina ng DOE. Totoo po ba yan?
Hindi naman. We have our frontliners, let's say, no? But lahat po na kailangan nandyan sa office, because if there is any need from the public to follow up or may kakausapin, and nandun po ang mga kailangan po nandun. The rest po kasi, if you understand, DOE is automated. We have the EVOS law that when you apply for a contract, it's digital. We avoid face-to-face dealings kasi para ma-avoid po any types of corruption or negotiation. Kailangan talaga you follow the law na 30 days. Pag hindi namin ma-approve digitally yan, it's deemed approved. So, actually, even when we are at the office or kahit kung wala man kami sa office, it's the same. It's all automated. Lahat po, it's digitally submitted, and even the signatures are digital. So, wala pong mga applications po na naiiwan because we are bound by the law and we follow that 30 calendar days. Po, hindi working days na 30 calendar days kailangan i-release na namin yung documents.
Okay. Ma'am, sabi nyo for efficiency at mas makatipid, magkano na po ang natipid ng DOE?
We have saved in 1 month doing this parang sinasample kasi namin sarili namin. We have saved actually 60% on fuel and electricity. At least a million pesos. And that million pesos we go back, we send back to DBM so that it can help also in the ayuda, no? Kasi yun naman yung dapat lang, no? Kung ano ma-save namin, it's our help for the government na ambag din namin na madagdagan pa ang mga ayuda ng DOTR or DSWD or any of the other agencies.
Ayan, so ito po ang malinaw na example ng aksyon, hindi bakasyon. At maraming salamat po sa ating mga panauhin at maaari po muna kayo mag-stay para po madinig po ang isa pa pong good news. At bago po tayo magtapos, Pangulong Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. tiniyak na siya ay masigla at nasa maayos na kalagayan. Kahapon, April 13, mga bandang alas 4 ng hapon, hindi po umaga, ay personal na nagbigay ng ulat si Pangulong Marcos Jr. sa taumbayan at humarap sa Malacanang press corps sa isang press briefing. Ito'y sa gitna ng kumakalat na mga maling balita na siya'y nawawala o di kaya may malubhang karamdaman. Mariin itong pinasinungalingan ng Pangulo. Nagbigay ng updates si Pangulong Marcos Jr. tungkol sa kanyang kalusugan. Malugod niyang ibinahagi ang kanyang regular na pag-eehersisyo, pagsunod sa payo ng mga doktor at pag-iingat sa kanyang mga kinakain. Nasa mabuting kalusugan ang Pangulo, handang maglingkod sa bayan at patuloy ang pagtatrabaho para sa bawat Pilipino. Sa parehong press briefing, inanunsyo ni Pangulong Marcos Jr. ang pagtapya sa excise tax sa LPG at kerosene. Aabot sa 3 pesos 36 centavos ang kalta sa kada kilo ng LPG o halos 37 pesos kada tangke. 5 pesos 60 centavos naman ang bawas sa kada litro ng kerosene. Layunin ng Pangulo na babawasan ang pasanin ng taumbayan na gumagamit ng mga nasabing produkto araw-araw. Inaasahang makakatulong ang mas mababang presyo sa pagbabudget ng mga pamilyang Pilipino. Ang pagtapyas sa excise tax ay bahagi ng pagsalag ng pamahalaan sa epekto ng gulo sa gitnang silangan. Hindi man natin kontrolado ang presyo ng petrolyo sa pandaigdigang merkado, may mga ginagawa at gagawin pa ang gobyerno para sa ikagiginhawa ng sambayanang Pilipino.
Una, sapat naman ang supply natin sa mga pangunahing pagkain, bigas, mais, gulay, asukal, isda, karne, manok, itlog, at lahat ng ibang produktong pagkain. Ikalawa, binawasan natin ang buwis sa produktong petrolyo na direktang ginagamit sa pang-araw-araw na buhay. Tinanggal ko na ang excise tax sa LPG at sa kerosene. Pangatlo, inaayos na natin ang sistema sa pagpasok ng pagkain sa bansa para mapababa ang presyo o protektahan natin ang mga consumer, ang mga magsasaka at ng industriya. Hindi tayo titigil hanggang maramdaman ninyo ang tunay na ginhawa sa inyong pang-araw-araw na buhay.
At yan po, napatunayan mismo ng MPC na ang Pangulo ay walang sakit, kundi ang mga miyembro daw ng MPC ang mukhang may sakit dahil sa paghihingal, sa paghabol kay Pangulo. Hindi ba Kat Domingo? At dito na po nagtatapos ang ating press briefing. Magandang araw para sa bagong Pilipinas.